making a comeback. We've never seen Mongolia struggle as much as they have today. It's not one game, it's not 2 games, it's 3 games, and it's continuously the same kind of pattern. They are getting pressured into fights, and they're losing these fights. So not really a hold of control, and they're also not really having the same kind of timings that I feel like we've seen in the first day. So maybe what really happened is they're overcomplicating things. They're taking too much time with rotations, and maybe overthinking the rotation in and of itself. And if that stops, I feel like Mongolia can come back. But right now, I feel like their mental is down significantly.
It's a harsh comeback. It's a harsh situation to be in. You feel like the games are slipping out of your hands, right? But it's just, if they win that fight versus Kazakhstan, they have at least 3 to 4 more points in that game. Kazakhstan has 3 to 4 less. Then they're in the qualifying spot, right? It's that much. It's really just these tiny little things that are missing out for them. That it's just these tiny little edges that they need. And I feel like a winning fight, a winning team fight, could even push them into a spot where they're suddenly a contender again. But so far today, it's just they haven't been able to get it going. And like I said, it feels way easier for the other teams that have had a good day and that have been able to close a gap and run away with things. It feels way easier for them to keep it up than for Mongolia to break the downfall.
Yeah, absolutely. I also quickly want to touch on Jordan, because Jordan was the team that was probably the most convincing on Miramar. 2 second places. They did have the option to win both of them. I feel like at least one of them I feel like during the game, at least, they were heavily favored. During the last game, I believe it was. So Jordan now still in contention. If they close this out and they have as much success as they did, I want to say yesterday, but 2 days ago on the first day of the Group A group stage, then honestly, Jordan is going to do it. Like, there's not another team that we've seen be so convincing on Miramar. Then again, it's a really low sample size. So who's to say that isn't going to change today completely? So we also got to say, today we've seen plenty of circles that just heavily favored that one team that were just in the middle. Like, we've seen Tajikistan with a win. We've seen Lebanon now with the win that they've pretty much just been gifted. You know, these teams that are pretty much in the center, have hard cover, and get the circle on top of it. And I also want to say we've seen, maybe even, I wouldn't say 2 times Lebanon, but at least 1 time Lebanon, as I said, and definitely one from Tajikistan. So who knows how the circles are going to shift on Miramar now. But if that happens again, and you know, one of the runner-up teams are going to get the circle, then maybe there's not even a chance, despite Mongolia playing better, for them to qualify at this point.
Yeah, and at that point, you have to be reasonable and say, well, they've had their chances and they've missed a lot of their chances, and they've dropped a lot of their chances. So if you don't get the opportunities in the last 2 games, then that's unfortunate and that's really rough. But then you've probably missed the opportunities in the first 10 games, and that's a bit of a problem that they'll have to face. But yeah, I think you make a good point about Jordan, is they've kind of been under the radar. I feel like they've just sort of slipped in here or there, getting a few kills, few placements consistently, creeping their way up the scoreboard, and now suddenly they're in 3rd place, right? I wasn't expecting them at the start of the day, for sure not. I thought it was just going to be the two favorites running away with things. Hasn't been the case at all. Not only Uzbekistan, not only Kazakhstan, Jordans have put themselves in the conversation. And like you said, if they continue in Miramar, then suddenly we have the upset, and we have a team that we didn't expect at all making it to Riyadh. Yeah,
absolutely. I'm so glad, to quickly touch on another subject, I'm so glad Kazakhstan is finally showing us that they can win games. I feel like that was the one thing that was missing them from group stage 1. And same thing goes for Kazakhstan and Mongolia, that kind of little dynamic. If Kazakhstan continues playing that way, there's just not going to be a way for Mongolia to come back, because Kazakhstan has been the most consistent team, I want to say, here in the second day of this group stage. So we'll have to wait and see how things go. I think this is going to give us a really good idea on who is taking second place. This game is going to decide a whole lot. Can Uzbekistan and Palestine come back? Can they get into reach for this second place that is currently at 19 points, which is Kazakhstan to be exact? So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Miramar, the first Miramar and one of the last Miramars as well of Group Stage A.
2 more chances, 2 more games, 2 more Miramars to go for all of our teams here. And there's one team that's sitting pretty. There's one team that's enjoying life. That is Bahrain. And then everybody else is sweating in the Miramar Desert right now. Kazakhstan early on down to the south, making a way towards Chumasera and the surrounding areas. And I have not been able to spot Mongolia. There they are. Montenegro is where Mongolia will reside. And maybe a bit of a congestion around the Impala area, but I would say I'd be surprised to see a hot drop. But with Uzbekistan and the way they've been playing the early games, maybe that's not a far stretch.
Yeah. Maybe not. Uzbekistan got away with the vehicles, by the looks of it. But not without damage being taken. Frega had to be very careful. That would be the most anticlimactic game now for them if they would just lose a player early on. And Lebanon, as we saw, wasn't reach actually take one of them. So good luck to Uzbekistan if they were to drop there again, because I think a second time Lebanon is not going to let that happen. As a result of that, Lebanon, we can tell, without any cars, they will have to run over to the next compound to loot. And that's going to make it a whole lot more complicated. But then again, they are pretty close to the circle, which is why they dropped there in the first place.
If I'm Lebanon, I'm thinking about running into Los Leones and just seeing if I can grab a free kill there. Maybe a team that doesn't expect me coming. Maybe get a few vehicles that way. Just create some divergence, create some craziness. Because like we said, right? They have nothing to lose. They go crazy or they go home. And with only 2 more games, maybe running around and looking for vehicles isn't the recipe for success. But who knows? They've been able to pull off great things in the last 2 games. And apart from catching Bahrain, right? Everything else is possible.
I think so too. I think Bahrain is the one team we realized and recognized this as soon as we saw them play after the first match today. We realized this team is not going to be caught up to. As hard as it sounds, this team is just in a league of itself at the moment. They know how to play this qualifier. I'm not saying that they will be in a league in and of itself outside of this, but in a 10-team, 9-team lobby, as of right now, and the way they play, they've just got it figured out. They know when to engage, when to disengage, they know when to play circle, when not to. And fighting-wise, they've been very, very resourceful. So good on Bahrain. Going to be very interesting to see them. Once again, we're not going to go ahead and reign them call them the champion just yet, but we all know there's almost no mathematical way for them to be caught up to. So they, I think, at this point already know they have to prepare for the journey to Riyadh and the IESF World Esports Champions. Championship. Not they're not champions just yet. Championship, obviously.
They have a chance. Palestine, on the other hand, not looking super hot at the moment. They've had some good moments. They've had some moments of brilliance here or there, but when it goes over 12 games, consistency is key, and they haven't really been able to show us what we need. Similarly, true for Tajikistan. Again, moments of greatness, some good games, but overall, under the line, just hasn't been enough.
Unfortunately. I feel like the last game was a good indication of why Turkmenistan is not in the contention for the top spots. They get into good positions. They played smartly. They're a talented roster. But when it comes down to the wire, they lose in situations that they would originally have the advantage at. And I think that's just due to the fact that very often they've met teams early on that just have so much more experience than them and are so much less scared. And one good example was Jordan in the last round. They were pushing them backs against the wall. They originally were a player down in comparison to that team, but yeah, just didn't work out anyways. They still got one by one picked apart, and Jordan was able to secure that round and still make 13 points off of it. Well, they did too. Well, let's take a quick look into Tajikistan, because these guys have shown us they can win rounds as well today. And it is, who would have thought, Lebanon on the other side. These guys also need to step up. They need two massive rounds. So maybe starting it off early is not a bad idea.
Exactly what we wanted them to do, right? Take a fight early, and they're taking it convincingly once again. Trasan finds the second, takes a 1v1 and wins it. And just like that, Tajikistan is wondering where their game just went. What just happened to them in the 10th or 11th round of the tournament. Bit of a spray coming out from Corey. And again, met by the UMP of Sakarya. Lebanon is looking good. They're looking feisty. And they're looking to take these fights. 3 eliminations before most of the other teams have really started to play the game is a nice way to start off your Miramars. And like you said, they need crazy games. It's not likely that we'll see them up towards the top, but this is exactly how they would have to start them. 2 vehicles gathered as well.
Yeah, perfect start for them. Absolute massive start. I want to see how far they can go. It's 60 points now. Let's just theorize here for a second. Imagine they get a win with 10 frags. Not too far off with what they've shown us so far. That would be 20 points. They're in 4th place. There would still be 10 points off a qualification spot. Let's say Kazakhstan, Jordan, Mongolia get 10 points max each. They would need to get a dinner in the next round as well. So the only way for Lebanon to qualify is to get a dinner in this one and a dinner in the next one.
Yeah.
And to have Kazakhstan, Jordan, and Mongolia get like 10 more points max each.
And
like,
double-digit kills in both of these wins.
Yeah, that's how crazy even like a 30 points difference really is, or like a 10 points difference in a best of 12 qualification spot for only the top 2.
It's such a shame that they didn't show up at all yesterday or the day before.
Like even 30 points would have given them so much.
Exactly. Yeah, just getting your 5 points a game would have been completely reasonable and enough to absolutely have them in the conversation right now. But they were a little too slow, a little bit too hesitant maybe. I'm not sure what the problems were on day one. But the problems on day one were so big that they are now in a spot where it's basically impossible for them.
Zone is going to close sometime soon. Almost no team is inside the circle yet, which is quite the surprising sight. East side does have Lebanon relatively close to, I believe that is Uzbekistan. I'm going to have to take a look and see that in detail when we get to the camera. And then also Mongolia, one of the few teams currently inside the safe zone. They are preparing for this next circle shift. You can tell already in the vehicles. It is a hard north shift. That is crazy. Not a single team at the moment anywhere close to circle center.
Crazy shift. Crazy shift to the northern side. Good for Bahrain, who've taken a lot of space once again. Confidence allows them to spread themselves very, very thin. Mongolia on the other side, they are sticking a little bit closer together. You can tell they're trying to minimize risks here a little bit more than some other teams around them. But yeah, crazy circle, and a circle that sort of rewards the teams that have taken their time. Because even if you manage to get yourself into a good spot in circle 1, most of these spots are completely irrelevant by phase 2.
Palestine, same thing. Almost same thing for them as it is for Lebanon. They need a win, and actually kind of another win. Let's be honest, either another win or like a second, third place with massive amounts of frags. So very unfortunately, they looked so sharp. They looked so good. They were in absolute reach start of this day, coming off of that win in the last Miramar game of day number 1, and then they just fell off. They couldn't show us the same fierceness, I feel like, that they have shown us throughout the first 6 games.
Interested to see what Jordan does. What they are able to pull off in this one, as they once again take a reasonably good position and get themselves ready to scrap their way through the circles. Ragnarok with the DMR, ready for some long-range shots. They have the vehicles they need. They have the gear they need. Quite a bit of 3 gear on these players as well. A lot of 3 vests, a few 3 helmets. They're pretty much set up for success here. And they are a bit of the sleeper team, a team that completely slipped my radar here, Felix. But they've really scrapped their way into 3rd place and into absolute contention here with Kazakhstan and Mongolia.
Yep. 60 points once again for Lebanon. Turkmenistan 27 points. We don't even need to theorize anything here, unfortunately. Even if they clean up the entire lobby twice and get the win, get the W, there ain't no way for them to qualify. So Turkmenistan is playing for experience at this current stage of the tournament. Very unfortunate for all the Turkmenistan fans we've seen, especially in the very first day in the chat. Shout out to you guys again. Shout out to any fan. We see a lot of Uzbekistani fans right now, and Kazakhstan as well. So once again, they need your support, especially Uzbekistan. It's such a cool thing to see. If I were an Uzbekistan fan right now, I'd be biting my nails because this could not get any closer. So really good for Uzbekistan to come back in the way they have.
Few more points. One good game. Suddenly they're in reach, but not winning that last game has kind of hurt them a little bit. It was a hard one to win, but if they had, they'd be in contention right now. They'd be in a good spot. So this way, they are still fighting for dear life. Nothing's impossible when you're so close to the top. We've seen big games coming out of all these teams, and it is possible. Play zone's moving in 30 seconds. We have a stage 3, a phase 3 circle upon us. We're gonna have to wait and see where that takes us. Neos is on the southwestern side of this new zone, with Jordan extending their feelers out. They're looking who's in that compound. They're looking if they can take it. They're looking where to go.
Next phase gonna be starting up in just a couple of seconds. Palestine still in a pretty good spot. A relatively tough circle. Very few positions that can be played on foot. So grabbing real estate right in this very moment is going to be crucial. You can tell Lebanon is trying to find an entry of water treatment, which is a pretty good spot right now. I want to say one of the best spots. Unless it goes deep south, they will have something to play off of for the rest of this match. Maybe get gas station to really make that cross safe. Could be a good option for them too. For everyone else, except maybe Turkmenistan, it is gonna mean trouble if this shifts anywhere else than to their edge.
Big position in the center there as well, yeah. But I'm seeing a fight on that northwestern edge. Mongolia is engaging versus Bahrain. Maybe one of the most scary teams to fight, but they catch one off for free. That's Ayo going down. And that is a big scalp to take for the Mongolian squad. Refueling their cars, getting ready for whatever the circle brings to them. But they now have a team in front of them that they have weakened, that they know is max 3 players alive. And that's something they can lean into. That's something they can abuse later on.
$112 points. 112 points. Have we talked about what would need to happen for Bahrain to drop out? Kazakhstan would. Yeah, Kazakhstan would need to. Yeah, no, it's. I want to see if it's mathematically possible.
Absolutely.
I think at this is it?
Mathematically, yes. Yeah.
No, but Jordan would need to pick up 32 more points. Well, no, not quite, but almost 30 points.
Yeah.
But also Kazakhstan will need to pick up more than 20 points. So Kazakhstan.
Yeah, it's never happening, but it's always mathematically possible.
Kazakhstan win one round, Jordan gets second with a good point, and then Jordan wins the next round, and Kazakhstan, well, doesn't theoretically need to do anything anymore.
Exactly.
But that would be the case.
That's a big kill, though. That's Jordan.
That's gonna make
Jordan
more
losing one, and that's
Ooh.
a third place team losing a member to the second place. Big scalp to take for Kazakhstan.
Lord.
That's a very high impact kill, and Jordan has not found their way around this circle well enough to get themselves in a position where they don't have to take any risks. So they do try to go for a scout, and they get punished instantly here. Bahrain is being breached, and I think that's Freezer going down in the kill feed as well. Jordan has decided that they maybe want this compound. I'm not sure if they're actually going in. Yes, they are. Damage is being traded. Ragnarok down to just 1 HP, but he's running it down, and he's taken out.
What?
Jordan's doing it.
I thought that was such a good peek from Neos, but he actually got taken down by the one-shot headshot from Ragnarok. Wow, such good pre-fire, and it still doesn't work out. With 1 HP, he turns the situation around. How the hell did he make that one happen? And now it's just part. The good thing is, this doesn't really mean too much anymore for any Bahrain fan because you guys are so heavily secured in terms of qualification. But for Jordan, on the other hand,
it means the world for Jordan.
Means a whole lot. These guys are so close to qualifying and taking that second spot and picking up another frag against one of the first place and absolute best placed teams in this lobby is going to give them a whole lot more confidence as well.
You love to see it if you're a Jordan fan, if you're a Jordan PUBG Mobile viewer. And I love to see it as well. They go for a risky scout. They're not sure where to end up. They're not sure what's free. They lose a member, but they don't hesitate. They don't say, well, we lost a member. Let's try and play this safe. Let's try and regroup. No, they send it for something that they want to have, and they win the fight convincingly. Bahrain, once again, spread themselves thin. They lost a member for it very early, and they do get punished here by a confident push from the Jordan squad. So hats off to them. Well played. And a well-deserved 3 elimination points.
Palestine, with that shift, is going to be relatively happy. I said how tough it's going to be for lots of these teams in case this shift does not go south. It did go more towards the southern side, so that's the one good news for Palestine, for Jordan, and even Uzbekistan, I want to say, especially also Kazakhstan. Otherwise, they will need to cross big distances across open field. So, at least for the time being, everyone is secured. No one really needs to move in deeper. These fights and skirmishes on the outside, on the outskirts of this new safe zone have already been dealt with as well. So, no one's really in current fighting. No one's really trying to take away space from anyone else. And this next circle shift, let me tell you, I think it's going to determine our winner for this next one. It's such a tough circle. Someone is going to get fed here. Unless it goes hard north, which is where I want to see this go, but I don't think it's going to. The teams in the hardcover spots are just going to be at such a big advantage.
Northwest. Mongolia take the compound, win the game. Boom. There's your prediction. Kazakhstan on the other side, they're fighting as this circle is about to pop. And the circle does center up. Turkmenistan in a beautiful spot here in the middle. Kazakhstan need to hold on. They need another win. They need another team fight going their way. And it's not happening right now. The first 2 knocks towards the other side. Palestine is looking good on this. Palestine is looking convincing. If they clean out Kazakhstan here, Jordan might be in for a treat.
It might be good drive-by, though, from Dream, who has been swapped around with a coach who's had a 1v4. That's somehow not the weirdest story of today. And Timon here with the 1v1, and he does it. Oh my lord, Palestine takes down Kazakhstan. What a big upset here on this eastern side. None of these teams really expected it to go that cleanly, but Palestine, look at them. They are not losing anyone. Look at this. Uzbekistan is now there to claim victory. They take down Dream. If they would only know there's one more player right in front of them, and he's not been flushed by anyone just yet. And look at this. One more return, though, and it is a 1-1 trade.
Oh, he lets him get the flush as well. That's so awkward. He's not there for his teammate to trade him out. Uzbekistan, they need to keep numbers up here. The play is beautiful. The kill grab is fantastic. Especially when it's a team that's competing for similar area on the map. But losing Fraga there hurts. Losing Fraga there is not what they wanted to do. They were hoping for a few free points. And they have been punished in the process. That's bad news for Uzbekistan fans. That's bad news for Uzbekistan. But it's good news for Jordan here on that western side, Felix. Because they're getting everybody around them just severely weakened before they have to move out of their compound.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Now we have Mongolia driving in. Lebanon is just on the other side. A couple of first shots are coming out. Hassan is the first one to greet them, but I don't think he's gathered a knock just yet. Mongolia is still 3-man strong. Nate comes in from Alex, and he takes down Hassan. He's got the shotgun in hand. 1v2, not a problem for him. And he takes down both of the players. Massive plays coming in from Alex, and they need this so very desperately. They need this more than any other team. They need the confidence back. They need the placements back. They need the points back. Alex, can he do more? Alex is just going wild. And he takes down every single one as IHC, aka Mongolia, the representatives of that beautiful PUBG Mobile Esports nations, are staying in the game and have found themselves another spot.
With that one single play from Alex, they're back in the game, and that must feel so good as well. That's exactly what they need. A bit of a step up, an individual one at that. brings them back into the game. Instantly back into third as well. Instantly past Jordan. And remember, Kazakhstan, they're out of this. Kazakhstan are up for the grabs here. 3 points ahead. I think they've got themselves a few kill points. But the placement points will start trickling on in. And this is looking good now for Mongolia. This is exactly what they needed. And with a little bit of space to boot here around that valley, Felix.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of space, actually. They should not have a problem rotating in. East side still is Uzbekistan. Southern side is still Palestine. Nothing really has changed in terms of the competition. Jordan obviously coming into the southwestern side. And the one team that didn't have to move throughout all these fights is Turkmenistan. And they will once again be gifted with a circle. Where else is it supposed to shift? That's why I said 2 zones earlier. I think I have a feeling of where this is going to end and who's going to have the best chance at it. Who's going to have the best shot at this round. And to no surprise to anyone, it is Turkmenistan.
Not a team we're expecting to contend for today, but a team that might sponge up some points. Uzbekistan now, they got Timon cruising through their compound. They're saying hello. Thank you very much. We will grab this elimination. We'll put another point on the tally. And we'll hope to make the climb. 79 at the moment. They have to be careful though. Look at the minimap. Mongolia is already there. Demon's already peeking over. Demo, excuse me. Already peeking on over. Trying to make his mark. Trying to take another frag. Pick up another kill. Each one of these kills is so impactful right now. The leaderboard is so stacked. The game is still so open, Felix. Just picking up a single kill onto Uzbekistan here is a big, big bunch of good news for Mongolia.
I'm wondering whether or not Uzbekistan really has an actual chance of making an outside of this little dip, because the way Mongolia is above them and the way the nades are already raining in, I don't think there's any potential for them. Oh my god, such good nades do not result in a knock. That's so unfortunate. Tapok and Hotboy have found themselves quite the good spot. Maybe this last nade is just perfect. No, still no knock. That is crazy. I think it's been 6 nades now, and they only have 1 building to hide themselves in. Mongolia are really unfortunate now, and they've wasted the majority of their utility.
They were hoping for an opening. That's a good nade again. They're dealing the damage, but they might not even be aware of how much damage they've dealt, because there just hasn't been any knocks coming on back, and there hasn't been a signal for them to really go in onto this. Now Rogue down to half HP. Alex is holding down the fort. But they were hoping for an invite. They were hoping for an opening to clear this out. They haven't gotten one. Now they have to figure out what to do with this. And on the minimap, you can see Jordan has flexed on out of their compound. They have pushed themselves behind the Uzbekistan squad, and they are now looking to see what they can do with it.
Yeah. Well, if if Jordan can find anything in this circle, I'm not sure which ridgeline they want to drive to. Is there even a ridgeline they would not be open to Mongolia or Turkmenistan? I don't feel like there is. Apparently there is. Laith has found himself a ridgeline they can at least momentarily stay at. He's got the support of his teammates further towards the northwestern side. Maybe that is going to additionally help them in terms of survivability. But Alex also, that's got to be spoken about, has got them in their sights. And Alex, so far in this round with 5 frags, is the one man you do not want to cross.
Still got 2 nades as well. Still ready to let one rip if he does find a target right below him. Circle closing on in the next few seconds. It's going to tell them where to go. It's going to tell them what they will have to do. But you can see he's still looking. He's looking for an opening. He's looking for a player out of position that he can nade down. And there's another nade bouncing on in. Bounces right back out. And so far, it just hasn't been meant to be. But look at where this zone has shifted. It's gone a little bit north. It's gone away from the bottom 2 teams. It's gone away from Jordan and Uzbekistan. And that opens the game up wide for Mongolia. If they manage to stay alive here, I feel like they are the favorites to win a 4v4 versus Turkmenistan.
Might be. Can I just quickly touch on how cool it is that we have that airdrop graphic that also shows you where the location of the airdrop has been looted at? That's so cool. So I immediately knew it was looted near water treatment. That's so incredibly cool. And Ragnarok, the player that is closest to it, has probably looted it already. So let's take a look. Uzbekistan in this circle needs to move. realistically, I don't see a chance for them to exit this without losing all of the players, but maybe you've got a different idea.
It's going to be tricky for anybody that's not Turkmenistan right now, but even Turkmenistan, once they have to leave the compound, not a free game for them anymore, not really. Just the easiest one to close on out. Mongolia, on the other hand, feels like they're in for a treat here. They're able to peek over this ridge whenever they want to. They're just making sure they don't get caught out of position, drive-by, anything of the sort. They're making sure their aggression is measured. And they're ringing it out here.
Oh.
Alex taken down, though. They've got to be careful now. Instantly consolidate this one. Make sure you don't lose a member here. Make sure the flush does not come through. So far, they've traded favorably. That's a good nade again. Good bunch of damage again. And that's a good spray into the smoke. They're ripping both teams to pieces here, Alex. One at a time, both at the same time. It doesn't matter. Just don't overstep. Just don't get knocked to your demo. You don't want to throw the game away.
No, you don't, but his teammate is there for the rescue. Rogue takes down 22. And as a result of that, Mongolia should be fine with just retreating for the time being. You can see everyone else is in deeper trouble than Mongolia is. And they've got the ridgeline now. That is a perfect ridgeline to potentially even contest this game out of the hands of Turkmenistan, as Jordan is still fighting for its life. I feel like the best case scenario for Jordan right now is that Uzbekistan goes out before they do. That one more placement, one more elimination point, probably, I feel like, the best thing that could happen. And look at this, Turkmenistan, meanwhile, has lost Klaus as well, while Chepi is being rezzed. So they're down to a 3-man as well. This could be the perfect opportunity for Mongolia to strike back. And so far, they've shown us that they want to and are capable to do so as well.
The global champions with 8 eliminations so far, 8 and counting. I am 100% certain they're going to out-survive Jordan here, and they're going to out-frag them as well. The question is, can they win the fight in the end? Can they take down the Turkmenistan players inside the compound, or do they let them come out onto the ridge? That's the questions that are open here. But we know they've done a big chunk of work. They've woken up, Alex. They've shown up. They've let us wait for 4 games. Now they're back. Now they're letting the shots ring out. That's Ragnarok gone. Can they get the confirm? It's looking likely. That's another elimination. That's 9. Soon to be 10. And it's going to be a double-digit game regardless here. Mongolia has woken the hell up.
Oh, yes, they have. Alex seems to be absolutely unstoppable. And IHC as a team itself seems to be so coordinated. Look at this. They've already realized, hey, the last players are probably going to be in this compound after Leith has been taken down, so we need to take the space right this very second, while Turkmenistan is repositioning, while they don't necessarily expect it either, because they don't need to push this yet, but they are, because they realize they have the opportunity to do so. And I do believe Chepi has been spotted. Same goes for Legenda. They're already putting up some shots against them. And Alex with the M2. I feel like there's no way in hell that he is going to lose the next couple of fights. He's got everything he needs. Level 3 gear. He's got the confidence as well now with the 5 frags. Let's see if he can make it work.
They're looking so sharp. They know where the player is. They're hunting him down. Now they know there's one more hiding around the compound. They have a good idea where Chappie is as well. And Mongolia is looking poised to take this. DBS coming on through. There's one knock. There's a second.
Oh, my lord.
It's getting messy
no
now.
way.
They only have 3 players in this compound, Felix. If Zhol loses the 1v1, this is a disaster for Mongolia. The first hit does not come through, though. And it's over. And just like that, Mongolia is back, baby.
Okay. That was closer than I thought, ladies and gentlemen. But we do have another contender joining the race for the top 2 spots. Mongolia is back, and IHC wants to show us why they are the reigning PUBG Mobile Global Champions. They have had such a tough qualifier. I've talked about it, coming in from the PUBG Mobile Nations Cup of the Mongolian Esports Association, and making their way in here as absolute favorites. Now, they've awoken from the slumber they've been in through the last 3, maybe 4 games. And Kovo, you said it. You said Mongolia, and you said Kazakhstan, and you said Bahrain. But only 2 of these will be able to take the journey to Riyadh. What's your opinion now?
Ooh, I know they're woken up. I know we have a fight on our hands. Now, I'm thinking after that game, they're not stoppable. That is exactly what you want, right? That's all the momentum you could ever gather. Kazakhstan has been good. Yeah. Kazakhstan's been consistent. They've been scrappy. they were never really rolling today. They were never really getting crazy today. Mongolia just went crazy. Mongolia just closed the gap entirely. And, well, it's going to be hard. There's going to be... everything's going to be decided in the last game. But if I were a betting man, I'd say this has Mongolia written all over it.
I thought it wasn't going to come down to the last game, I'll be honest. Before the 6 matches today, I thought Mongolia and Bahrain are going to run away with it. And then Mongolia didn't show us anything for 3 games. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, Alex comes in, gets 1, gets 2, gets a 3rd one, and just cleans up everyone. I mean, even Lebanon was surprised, I think, at how sharp Alex handled that situation. Because, honestly, his teammates were knocked, and there was no one in close succession. If he would have gotten taken down, I think IHC maybe even potentially would have lost that fight then and there. Instead, they take home, what, 11, 12, maybe 13 eliminations and the chicken dinner. So, man, Mongolia do look strong. And someone in the chat said it as well. IHC is back.
Yeah.
Let's see if that continues in the last game of this group stage.
They are so back. Nice try from Chappie there in the end. Nice transition with the UMP, but look at that. That's a lot of eliminations. That's a lot of damage as well across the whole team. And you can tell they haven't been sitting in a compound damage farming. They have been fighting their way through this lobby, fighting their way through that entire ridgeline around water treatment, and they have rewarded themselves with the win in the end.
Really, really good statistics from Alex, especially 1,200 damage. That is not something you see every day. Let's take a look at some of these match standings. In match number 11, we have Mongolia with 23 points, more than double the next team, Jordan and Palestine, with a really tough edge on that southern side. Still making it with 11 and 8 points each. That's pretty good, I gotta say. And then the big upset is Uzbekistan. They had chances for so much more, but unfortunately will end it with 7 points. Tough circle though, I gotta say. But if they wouldn't have lost that one play, I'm not sure who it was anymore, against, I believe it was Kazakhstan, then they would have had such better options.
Yeah, I think it was Palestine there in the end. But yeah, good third party from them. Turns pretty sour, makes that game really, really hard. And the other thing we have to talk about is Kazakhstan and Bahrain, right? 2 and 1 points. Some of the top teams here really falling short, and not being able to get anything going has opened the door wide for 3rd and 4th place, Mongolia and Jordan, to come back into this and really take the reins back and take their own chances at closing out today with a qualification slot, because that's really all that matters here. That's really all that matters. It doesn't matter if you're 3rd or if you're 10th. It matters if you're in the top 2 or not.
Absolutely, 102 nades being thrown. That's actually really not that much. I was very surprised. We saw on the first day of the Group A consistently above 130 nades being used, or at least around it. So far today, it's been way less, and I'm not sure if it's a circle. Just don't necessarily allow you to use it much, but I would argue it isn't. Right, we've seen plenty of circles where lots of open space needs to be crossed from all the teams around the one team that's been fed the circle. And this time it was Turkmenistan. So in theory, more smokes should be used, more nades should be used, but that's just not been the case. Post-match statistics in all the categories also heavily favor Mongolia.
Heavily favor Mongolia, top 5 on all of these standings. Again, the most healing standing is sometimes a team that doesn't win the game, that doesn't outperform, but when you're fighting so much, like they have been this game, and then you might even top that stat. So, well played by Mongolia, well-deserved win, and I think there's going to be no surprises with the match MVP. It should be Alex, and yes, it is. 5 elims, 3 assists, surviving until the very end of that game. And that is exactly what they needed. I think his step up really opened the door. His 1v2 there on the ridgeline of water treatment really opened the game up for Mongolia. And then the other thing we saw is the early compound breach, right? Not waiting around, not waiting for the game to consolidate. Beautiful stuff from Mongolia this game.
Yeah, not surprising to me that Alex is the MVP also of this round. After his clutch against Lebanon, he kind of paved the way for Mongolia to come back in this tournament. 5 eliminations for Alex. Just 2 for Ragnarok. But Ragnarok in general, I'm not surprised he's on here, has been the key player for Jordan. He's been such a massive fragger for them. He's always the first one to go in. He's making the majority of the key frags. Yes, he tends to die early as well, but that's also because he is the entry figure. He takes the risk of dying, and most of the time he's coming out on top. So props to Jordan, especially Ragnarok.
Props to Jordan so far in this tournament. They've really made a name for themselves and really showed up in the standings much more than I expected them to. This game they can't contend. MGL Mongolia, the PUBG World Champions on that roster, get themselves 13 eliminations, 11 assists. That goes to show you how much team play there was, right? And 3,000 damage essentially. Not a number we've seen broken. But let's head on over to the overall standing. Let's see what that means for the scoreboard. And I'm saying Mongolia's in right now. They might even pass Bahrain if they keep playing like this. But the gap is 10 points to Jordan. And it's 13 points to Kazakhstan.
Yeah, look, we might say it's not that much, but it kind of is. It kind of is. Is it enough to say it's a best of one? Yes, but it's a best of one that's heavily in the favor of Mongolia, and not even to speak of Bahrain. Well, for Bahrain to drop out, in theory, it's still possible. Imagine Jordan wins, Bahrain goes out early, and Mongolia has a good game away. It doesn't even to me like a crazy game, but like 8-9 points are probably going to be enough depending on the tiebreak, which they will probably get with the chicken dinners they have. But just imagine that even now, with everyone performing except Bahrain in this match, it's still possible for Bahrain to drop out, even though it's very, very likely for Bahrain and Mongolia both to drop out, let alone Bahrain. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's exciting. 92 on Kazakhstan and 83 on Uzbekistan. I think they will have a chance. The only team that doesn't really have a chance anymore, I want to say, is Palestine. Mathematically, yes, but the chances for them to have a good game and everyone else not to are almost non-existent.
Yeah, I think top four is what we're really looking at. Jordan, Kazakhstan, Mongolia. And we'll have to wait and see what they are able to pull off. Massive comeback from Mongolia. They finally woken up. They've made this a 3-horse race now. Nice. Love to see that as a caster. We are going to one last break. It's the last one, guys. It's the last break before the last match of Group A. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 6 on Miramar.